Feeder room's innermost area, Monokuma room. How much time had passed? The surveillance cameras in the gate were capturing footage of countless Monokumas falling at the hands of a child who fought like a raging demon. The Monokumas bolstered in their numbers, and now 100 of them were trying to sink their claws into Makuro. Most of them were running into on autopilot, reacting to her movements based on prior information they received in advance. But despite standing before hundreds of mechanical adversaries, Makuro's face showed no fear. She hadn't sustained a single injury, giving her a presence that was nearly divine to behold. That'd be pretty badass to see. Though Sakura Ogami was powerful enough to injure her arm, Makuro in her current state could potentially fight Ogami to a draw now without relying on firearms. She took complete control of the battlefield, taking in her surroundings as if they were a part of herself. She dodged attacks from the rear as though she had eyes on the back of her head and stabbed through Monokuma's weak points with her metal bar. No matter where the attacks came from, Makuro deflected them all as if her skin were covered in eyes. Describing her ultimate as an ultimate no longer did her justice. Makuro had transcended the boundaries of humanity to become a pure killing machine. She'd become a fucking demon lord. By the gods! That'd probably be pretty awesome to see, actually. Despite that, even though she understood the ludicrous power her sister possessed, Junko was not afraid. She felt not one iota of fear. After all, all Junko could feel is despair. She even started to admire her sister's attempt to fulfill her with despair. But that sentiment quickly filled Junko with an orgiastic ecstasy of despair. Junko knew. She knew that Makuro was neither hope nor despair. She was just a phenomenon. A phenomenon. Disappointing girl who no longer understood herself, who only knew how to become violent because it was all she could believe in anymore. Makuro had to become an avatar of destruction beyond that of any military force. She couldn't even be considered a soldier anymore. She was a natural disaster like a fucking typhoon or a tornado or some other horse shit. Perhaps like gravity, she was now the fundamental force of the universe that only existed to bring despair to Junko. The mastermind enjoyed watching her sister go all out like some kind of crazy spider monkey. If Makuro destroyed everything and ruined her life, Junko would still be comforted by the despair. She could just go right ahead and overpower her. Junko considered this for seconds until a familiar, hopeless habit reared its head. Her habit of getting so bored that it made her sick. So she changed her personality to something else, right? Blah, 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 blah. Girl who had begun grinning as she watched the screen now bore a look of calm stoicism, and she reached for the microphone connected to Monokuma's speaker. Makuro was no longer human anymore, but Junko knew how to bring her back. It was a simple feeling, really, and with that hopeless feeling for Makuro in mind, the mastermind just said one word. Makuro. In front of the main entrance. Makuro. That voice was calling her name. Instead of using Monokuma's voice filter, Junko's natural voice was coming out of the Monokuma unit. That's all it took. With one word, Makuro stopped being a force of nature and became a person again. Monokuma would not miss this opportunity. As if moving to the beat of Makuro's shaking hard, a torrent of claws leapt to attack her. Makuro trusted her instincts and twisted her entire body to fend off the attacks, leaving her with only a few scrapes here and there. The despair wasn't over yet. The ultimate spirit didn't waste any time making her next move. Makuro, watch out! Huh? As soon as Makuro heard that voice, her mind went completely blank. There was no mistaking it. Oh, that was Nagi's scream. Oh, Makuro, watch out! The scream that saved her from the spears of Gungnir and changed her destiny. No, that's wrong. It took her a tenth of a second to realize that voice was just a sound clip that Junko had replayed. But it was more than enough time to drag Makuro, who regained her humanity, into despair. Right when she recovered from her moment of shock, Monokuma appeared from behind her, roundhouse kicked her in her temple. Ooh! Roadhouse! Boo! Twisted her head to roll with the blow, but at the moment, a different Monokuma attacked her from the opposite side with a headbutt. And as soon as Makuro dodged that attack, 3 Monokumas launched simultaneous drop kicks and knocked her to the ground. The fact that they weren't using their claws meant that they weren't really trying to kill Makuro right away. Before she could regain stand up again. Okay, before she could stand up again, dozens of Monokumas waiting for her on the floor climbed on top of Makuro and pinned her limbs. One of the Monokumas walled over to Makuro as she lay face down on the floor and laughed.
Boo! Pretty girl getting pinned by all these bees. I wonder if I should feel more excited about this. Don't make that face. If I don't want to kill you, I'd just pump you full of bullets right now. But I don't think the audience watching this on TV would like that ending very much. You know, like Dragon Ball Z, I gotta transform into a Super Saiyan and take me out, right? I gotta make sure I do it the right way this time. What are you planning to do to me?
Makuro asked in her emotionless voice. Monokuma guffawed and answered.
Nothing. I'm just gonna stick to the original plan to make you play the killing game at this school. I'll erase everyone's memories again, and I'll just make them redo the introduction and the entrance ceremony again. In typical Monokuma fashion.
Oh, in typical Monokuma fashion, he leaned his face toward Makuro.
But it'd be boring if we had to redo everything. Maybe this time I'll have you participate as Makuro Kazama. I'll take away even one of I'll take away even more of your memories like I did to that irritating detective girl. You'll just be a poor little girl with no memory at all.
As Monokuma talked and wiggled his body from side to side, the other Monokumas danced and twirled around. They're all dancing.
Hey, look, I'm doing the monkey.
Amid this fantastical scene, Monokuma continued to describe his hopeless plan in a nonchalant manner.
At first, you'll be the girl with amnesia, and everyone will feel so sorry for you. They'll be like, oh, poor Makuro, don't know who you are, But as they unravels the mystery of this academy, they'll find out who you really are. It's exciting to think how they'll treat you when that happens. Knowing you'll probably kill someone purely on instinct. Maybe I should rethink my rules about self-defense. You'll be like Jason, Born Identity. You can't.
Her memories would be erased. There's nothing she could do about her castmates hating her. But losing even her childhood memories would mean her connection to Junko would be severed as well. Even Makuro had no interest in the world, that was unbearable even for her.
I've heard of New Game Plus before, but this is the first time I'll get to see a New Game Minus. Oh, should I tell you? Should I tell you for fun? Man, we should make this game even more messianic. Forget hard mode, very hard mode, and inferno mode. Want to skip ahead to impossible mode? Maybe I'll erase your memories after I drag you on a motorcycle, pummel you with 1,000 baseballs, burn you at the sink, and crush you with an excavator. All of which actually happened in the game too. Isn't that? That's actually.
It's actually how she ends up killing herself at the end of the first game. She uses every one of the other executions on herself. Makuro knew what Monokuma was talking about. He was describing the tools that had been prepared for the various executions that had been planned for the students. After everyone reintroduces themselves, they'll walk.
After everyone reintroduces themselves, they'll walk around the school grounds and eventually find a flat just a girl with amnesia. Shut up, my boobs are. My grooves just haven't grown in yet. Covered in bandages with finger tattoos on her right hand. I bet a certain fan base might get off on that. Woo! If this were a game, this would increase sales by 500%.
The Monokuma sounded like he was joking. Everything he said was deadly serious.
Isn't that right, person playing this game right now?
Yep, you're totally right. You're totally right, Monokuma.
See? I knew it. Nico knows what I'm talking about.
As evidence, Makuro heard a rumbling sound off in the distance.
Now then, your sweet ride is on its way.
Based on the engine's noise, Makuro surmised that it was a large motorcycle that was supposed to be used for one of the executions.
I took the time to bring this all the way from the punishment room, so you better be grateful. You better be grateful.
The sound of the roaring engine grew louder and louder, like the approaching footsteps of death. Makuro wondered how Monokuma would drive it with such tiny arms and legs, but when she remembered she was dealing with the ultimate despair, Junko would make that impossible possible just to bring about despair. I remember you guys actually told me apparently it's like it seems to be a general consensus that Kazuichi was the one who constructed all the machines for the executions and stuff, which I guess would make sense. It's kind of it's an interesting theory. A despair that went hand in hand with Makuro's fate.
Did I fail? I couldn't fill Junko with despair? I couldn't save Nagi and the others?
Questions raced through Makuro's mind, but she wasn't able to answer them. There's no way she could have answered them so easily. After all, she was still alive. The sound of the motorcycle grew closer and closer as if threatening to break Makuro's spirit. Suddenly, Monokuma stopped moving. The other Monokumas continued to do their automatic movements. As the strange event unfolded, Makuro noticed something. The motorcycle had suddenly gone quiet. For a few seconds, the engine exploded to life and began approaching even faster than before. Only a few seconds later, what appeared in front of the major entrance was an enormous motorcycle that plowed through groups of Monokumas like a predator hunting its prey. Oh my god, I was just thinking, is that going to be... It is. The rider of this motorcycle was none other than Mondo Wada. Yeah! Oh yeah, baby! My moment of glory has finally arrived. Makuro and Monokuma were both visibly shocked by this turn of events. Instead of addressing them, Wada accelerated the motorcycle he stole from Monokuma directly toward Makuro. Just before his front tire touched Makuro, he popped a reverse wheelie and turned their entire motorcycle around. Oh yeah, baby! Woo! Wow, this place must have a really high ceiling for me to be able to do that. Back wheel swept over Makuro's back and knocking away all the Monokumas that were pinning her away. Hey, can you stand? Wada asked and begrudgingly offered his hand to Makuro. Confused, Makuro took his hand and stood up.
What are you doing, Wada? I was so close.
One of the Monokumas
What are you doing, Wada? I was so close.
One of the Monokumas protested. Not his normal voice, but as the hacker, Bashiki Madarei. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, you're Bashiki or whatever, right?
That's right. Why are you helping it?
I don't know.
I'm giving him still using the Monokuma voice because fuck it. That's right. Why are you helping a terrorist?
I ain't bragging about this or anything, but I have no clue if you or this girl of mine. The vein in his temples began to bulge and his cheeks flushed with anger, as Iwata said, But still, I ain't the type to stand around and watch some idiot gangs up on a girl.
What are you saying? Get over yourself! You must be experiencing Stockholm Syndrome! You delude yourself into thinking you're friends with a criminal who's taking you hostage!
NicoB tried to explain to Iwata, but ignored him. Took Makuro's hand, pulled her onto the back of the motorcycle. Oh, shut the fuck up. I don't know nothing about Stockholms or syndromes, but don't go acting like you can boss me around. As Iwata shouted, he revved the motorcycle as if he was using it to punctuate his words. The ceiling and mounted turrets began moving, but the two disappeared before the turrets could take aim at the motorcycle. As they zoomed through the hallway, countless Monokumas chased after him, waving their claws wildly through the air. Why? Asked Makuro. Huh? Shouted Iwata. His voice was even louder than the sound of the engine. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't trust you at all. His voice lowered. He lowered his voice slightly as he were whispering to himself. God, there's a lot of typos in this game. Still, I don't know why I feel like I could just trust what he said.
He?
Fired Makuro. Where there was no more time for questions. The unit leading to the Monokumas chasing after the motorcycles almost caught up to them. And then, like the enormous maw of some fearsome creature, they branched their claws in perfect unison. At that moment, the motorcycle zoomed by a certain girl. A girl whose fighting ability surpasses that of any normal human. The strongest girl on Earth. With a fighting spirit that defied comprehension, the ultimate martial artist kicked off the floor. The sound even louder than the motorcycle's engine filled the room. Here I come. When Makuro looked back, she saw Ugami landing on the floor, sending the pack of Monokumas flying several meters away. Ugami shockwave!
Holy balls! Oh my god, so much power! It's over!
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear your meme. I was too busy kicking your ass. Oh. Ugami?
Ugami?
She heard Makuro Trump mumble her name. Ugami didn't acknowledge it. Like a statue of a fearsome god king, she calmed her breathing as she stood before the pack of Monokumas ready for battle. Your presumed methods seem unbecoming for one who claims to be the ultimate hacker. An overpowering aura seeped from her skin, and her skin shimmered as an intense heat began to fill the hallway. Powering up time. Unlike the power of Makuro's sheer violence, this was the power of martial arts. This is the power of Son Goku. Makuro froze the air back around her and the time along with it, but Ugami was generating enough heat to boil the space itself as she stood before the Monokumas. With that heat stinging her back, Makuro looked ahead. Yamada and Fujisaka were constantly peeking around from behind the door leading to the dorms, while Shina and Ishimaru kept watching from inside the building. After passing them by, Iwata slowed down the motorcycle as he reached the front of the cafeteria and turned to a complete stop. Wow, he managed to cut those turns around the corners of the building? That's pretty... there's nothing I can't do. I'm ultimate motorcycle guy. The students looked very warily at Makuro, but among these students, Makuro noticed two people who weren't regarding her with suspicion. One was Kiyogiri, who seemed to be studying the situation. The other was a skinny boy who was leaning against Kiyogiri's shoulder.
Nagi?
Makuro's lips began to tremble as she sat on the back of the motorcycle, ignoring the pain coursing through her body. Nagi smiled at Makuro and repeated what he said to her earlier. I'm glad you're safe, Makuro. Fortunately, Makuro was unable to realize her hope of filling her little sister with despair, until she had successfully planted the seeds of hope into her fellow students. Jeez, I wonder how long this goes on for. It's a bit longer than I thought it would be. Nagi barely regained consciousness while Makuro was fighting the horde of Monokumas at the main entrance. When he woke up, he did something extremely simple. He talked about his memories. Most of the students were still skeptical even after listening to Makuro's recorded confession on Fujisaki's laptop. Obviously, they were not still entirely convinced at first that when Nagi woke up, but after Ugami asked him a certain question, the ambience completely changed. Then beyond the walls of the school, the world is completely destroyed. You're saying there's no one else alive. Nagi slowly sat up to answer Ugami's meek question. Don't worry, I'm sure Kenishiro is still alive. Oh, he must... See, yeah, now he remembers all of his... I don't know, is that... It must be her master or something? I'm not really sure. I didn't finish her social link! I'm sure he'll still keep his promise to you. Yeah, because his promise to fight her, right? Or, I don't know. I guess. Ugami gasped. Kenishiro was the only man she couldn't defeat. Yeah, a man who had promised her a rematch and made her one other promise as well. How do you know that name? How do you know about that promise? Because you told me. No. Nagi slowly corrected himself. You told all of us. Ugami was silent after hearing those words. But she then faced the other student and spoke in a loud, clear voice. I'm going to trust Nagi.
Sakura?
Though Ashina was surprised, Ugami continued to speak with determination. What Nagi just said is something I kept locked away inside my memories. In fact, I was planning to keep that secret until the day I died. But if I shared that secret, that means that there was a strong bond between Makoto, Nagi, and myself. And with my fellow students as well. Nagi continued to talk in a gentle tone. Though it couldn't have been good for his health, he continued to talk slowly about the memories that the other students no longer had.
Why do you know the story I'm planning to write? Are you a special SNET user? Can you predict the future?
You already finished this story, Yamada. He had me help you with inking. Whoa, what? Who's talking right now? Whoa, wait a second. How do you know I extorted money from that girl related to the Kuzuru clan? What is this? Wait, whoa, hold on a second. I need to wrap my mind around what that means. So my Kuzuru's sister? Because he even tried to sell my organs to them. Who is talking? Oh, why doesn't it say who's talking? I guess is it Wada? His wounds were excruciating, but even so, Nagi kept smiling and talking about their lives together, as if it was his duty to do so now that he regained his memories. You know, extorted money from that girl related to the Kuzuru clan. Interesting. Does any of you guys this is related to that incident that also Mahiro was a part of as well? As the other students listened to him, they slowly began to realize something. The vivid accounts he was providing couldn't be explained as just passing knowledge. Clearly, some kind of bond between them all had been erased. Only Tagami remained cynical. There's no way I would have grown closer to any of you. It's likely you're all secretly working together against me. Tagami, the greatest person ever. Fuck all of you. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Though Tagami was still hostile toward Nagi's recollection of their memories, this time being determined that Nagi wasn't actually a terrorist. Nagi's like, well, yeah, to be perfectly honest, you didn't actually give me anything worthwhile to share. I knew it. You're a terrorist. I'm gonna kill you. That's sound Tagami trying to murder Nagi. Makuro had bought enough time for Nagi to wake up and share his memories with the others. Even if she hadn't intended to do that, there was still a small sliver of hope that she grasped tightly. And now, as she looked at the boy who had smiled at her, Makuro didn't know what to say. She couldn't think of anything to say at all. The battle's over. Makuro was now back to being a disappointing girl. She turned away from everyone's face and apologetically climbed off the back of the motorcycle. But Nagi saw her and slowly opened his mouth to say, "Thank you, Makuro. You saved my life." Nagi gave her words of sincere gratitude between his weak breaths. Makuro couldn't bring herself to look at him as she mumbled to herself.
Why?
Huh?
If Kiryu already told you, you already know what I did, right?
After regaining his memories and learning the truth, Makuro should have been nothing but a hated traitor to him. Why would he smile at someone like her? Because Nagi's the fucking man. Just like Hajime. Unfortunately, Nagi doesn't have the ability to turn into a Super Saiyan Hajime! Oh, he smiled at someone like her. Makuro kept her head down. Nagi smiled as if he was unsure how to respond, said, "Well, I guess you're right. You also saved my life many times during these past 2 years, and..." Nagi took a deep, quiet breath and smiled at Makuro again. "You're my friend. We spent all time with each other. I guess all this time with each other. It'd be great if you could look for a different path, not despair. If there's any way I can help you, I will."
Do you really think I can walk another path at this point?
I don't know what you can do, or even what I could do. But I think it's more important to look for the path instead of actually finding it. Is this intentional or coincidence? Just before he regained his memories, Nagi had said something similar to Makuro when she spoke to him in the nurse's office as Junko. Regardless of whether he lost his memories or regained them, those words revealed Nagi's true character. As Makuro confirmed that to herself, Nagi blurted out something that was almost too trusting. And it's not just you. Even Junko can, but he was immediately interrupted. Monakuma's face appeared on every monitor in the academy. His laughter seemed to be coming out of every speaker. He's like,
"Oh my god, did you just say that? Did you just fucking say that? I could have kept pretending to be that ultimate hacker, but is born to impersonate someone who doesn't even exist."
"Oh, okay." This person didn't exist? I figured it was someone in the other game or whatever. Or the other Danganronpa 0 or whatever.
This keeps up, I'll lose my identity and turn into Kanaguma.
Kira looked up at the surveillance camera and addressed Monokuma directly.
You seem to give up pretty easily. There isn't a bear anywhere that gives up as easily as I do. Carlos, I'm pretty sure Fujisaki's figured out the secret of my control program by now. So just I thought you included that program on purpose.
Kira realized something that Makuro told her about Junko. For 2 reasons that such a hateful person would intentionally leave an obvious clue inside the Monokuma unit. Either Junko wanted the students to learn the truth about the world, outside world themselves on their own and turn their hopes into despair, or she was looking forward to the clue resulting in her own plan being undone, which would allow her to feel despair towards herself. She was an angel of everlasting darkness, delighting in her own despair, using it to spread despair and destruction to those around her. Why would someone like that continue to play the role of Monokuma?
Actually, I set that program for Fujisaki to discover she happened to be one of the final 5 survivors. What she isn't. Sorry, Fujisaki. Also, she's a dude.
What?
You know what? Since we're throwing twists out of the way, I'm just gonna throw her out. She's got a penis. Feels so sad and empty that my preparation was a waste, but I'm gonna think about it positively. The word retreat doesn't exist in Monokuma's dictionary.
Nurses began to grip the students as Monokuma continued to talk in a relaxing, uplifting voice.
Now then, looks like everyone's here, including Fukawa, who's still tied up in her room. So let's start the heart-throbbing, exciting special graduation exam.
Huh? Students broke out in noisy confusion, but Monokuma ignored them and kept talking.
Don't think about it too hard. Relax. Change Elax to Rupert for all I care. Rupert. What? I'll still be the most adorable bear here.
Takami, visibly annoyed with Monokuma's nonsensical rambling, shouted, I already know it's you, Junko. Stop this stupid game and show yourself, you dirty whore. I challenge you to a money off.
Oh my, don't you know? If you want to lure the mastermind out of her heavenly hidey hole, you need to bring a worthy sacrifice. You're not worthy enough at all. Do you really think the mastermind would show herself for your pathetic hope and despair? Oh!
He roared manically? Oh, manically, yeah. He roared manically, then began to explain the special graduation exam.
If you pass my exam, everyone will graduate, but if you fail, you'll be held back for a whole year. I'll set your memories and give you a fresh new lease on life, and you'll reintroduce yourselves at the start of the school year again. We'll do this all over again forever and ever and ever. I say people's lives don't come with reset buttons, but I'm not a people. Whether it's the soft resets or hard resets, I can do as I please. It's my game.
Hog Curry seemed confused, but the others students knew what Monokuma meant by reset. He was going to force them to relive their school lives once again. As Hog Curry struggled to understand, Ishimara pointed at a nearby monitor and shouted, Stop this already! No matter what you do to us, we'll never commit murder. These past few days should have already made that clear to you.
What was that?
Jumped Monokuma.
Are you serious?
Of course, no one here would ever take another human's being's life for any reason. As Ishimara shot one of the students, a pale-faced girl standing apart from the others, looked away. It was Mizono. As she trembled, a voice popped up from behind her. Oh.
What do you think, Mizono?
She couldn't even turn around from sheer terror, but Mizono knew. She knew Monokuma was staying right behind her.
Do you really think none of you will become a killer? Aww.
Monokuma leaned toward Mizono and asked her his question only she could hear.
By the way, Mizono, why'd you go to Nagi's room when nothing strange had happened yet? Did you two have an inappropriate relationship? If you did, I have it all on tape. What would your fans think if they found out you made a move on a boy by sneaking into his room? Or were you there for some other reason?
She could barely make a sound, much less scream as her trembling worsened. Monokuma had nothing to gain by cornering Mizono and toying with her emotions like that. She simply wanted to see the young singer fall in despair over her true character. For that reason, Monokuma did not relent.
Hey! What are you trying to do with your close friend you've known for the past 2 years?
Her termination from last night blended with the memories Nagi recounted and ate away at Mizono's mind like a disease. As her mind began to rip itself apart, she fell to her knees. A clear ball, flying at just under 105 miles per hour, struck Monokuma in the face with enough force to sink into his face. Oh, Kawada time! The speaker in Monokuma's mouth was immediately destroyed as the body rolled into a wall and stopped moving. Mizono came to her senses and looked where the ball came flying from. She saw Kawada breathing heavily as he stared intensely at Monokuma. Hell yeah, finally, I got to show off my cool moves. None of y'all believed I was the ultimate baseball player. Nobody did. I didn't do any cool baseball shit. But now, what do you think? Yeah, I threw baseball through the guy's face. Yeah. Hagure grabbed him and yelled, Oh, dude, why'd you do that, Kawada? That crystal ball is really valuable. Oh, it's right, he took his crystal ball and chucked it. I got you. Kawada had stolen Hagure's crystal ball and thrown it at Monokuma. Monokuma Bass was trying to take Mizono hostage. What was I supposed to do? Dude, the crystal ball cost me $2 trillion! $2 trillion! They don't even print that much money anymore! Oh, bullshit. Besides, the world's all screwed up. What the hell are we gonna do with money for anyway? Well, save out there, I'll just join the major leagues or whatever and pay you back. Well, I could pay you back doing something else besides baseball. As the two argued, Mizono fell to her knees. Hey, shouted Kawada, running toward her. Mizono, you alright? Are you okay? She looked at him and stared blankly.
Kawada.
She made her mind. She raised her head. She said,
Something I need to confess to you later.
What? Seriously?
Well, yeah, I was totally gonna murder your punk ass.
Seriously? You're gonna confess to me? Oh, sweet. It's gonna be awesome. Mizono was staring at at Kuwata so intensely they really forgot about the current situation.
Not just you, but to Nagi and the others too.
Mizuna made up her mind to confess the sin that was weighing heavily in her heart. But Kuwata seemed not to hear the latter half of her remark. He ran back to the others and slapped Yamada and hugged her on the back and shouted, "Alright, everyone, let's ace this exam. We'll never get the hell out of here." Alright, after we're all done here, I'm gonna make out with Mizuna. We're gonna make babies. It's gonna be fantastic. Oh, it's gonna be a sequel. Alright, we're gonna have a big family. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the greatest ending this game ever had. Oh my god, so many babies gonna get made. So many babies! What are we waiting for? Go! There's no way I'm gonna let my happy memories of this place get taken away. Monokuma inside the monitor responded.
Fine, now things are finally coming to a boil. Let's start the graduation exam.
Ugami had been outside the dormitory, suddenly appeared with some information. The Monokumas in the hallway are acting peculiar. Students all moved to the main building to see what Ugami was talking about. They saw 50 Monokumas standing in 2 rows along the walls of the hallway, and one standing at the very end of the hallway. There was something strange on top of this Monokuma's head. A large version of the escape button that Nagi had obtained from the Mono machine. As these students took this in sight, an announcement rang throughout their school.
The me at the end of the hall has a button on top of his head that'll open the main entrance. You'll have 50 seconds to get that button, and if you do, I'll let you have it in place of a diploma.
Students seemed surprised by this straightforward explanation. Only Celeste remained calm, and she asked Monokuma with a bored look on her face.
Of course, it's not as simple as running up and taking it, is it? Oh, how mean! I'm the kind of headmaster that would interfere with this student's graduation. Forget the gunfire salutes. I'm gonna send my graduates up with some fireworks. 100 fireworks to be exact, enough for 20 seconds of hardcore partying.
The more perceptive students immediately realized what he was talking about. Bombs installed inside each Monokuma. They would explode one after the other, filling the hallway with fire as soon as time started.
After 15 seconds, the me standing at the back of the hall is gonna sacrifice himself to give you guys one full firework. By the way, this probably isn't important, but the button isn't very durable. Oh!
This graduation exam was Monokuma's way of saying they had no intention of letting anyone leave. It was clear from the explosion that the students saw during the entrance exam the halls of Hope Street Academy would be bathed in fire.
We're all gonna go out in a blaze of glory!
And when someone was lucky enough to survive the explosions, the burns on their body would alone be enough to send them into a fatal shock. The lungs might be completely incinerated by the scorched air before that. And even if they sacrificed one student to run through, the odds were low that they would even succeed. There was no reason for every student to run in at once. A shadow of despair fell upon their faces.
Nice, very nice! I almost want to take a picture so I have those faces as a souvenir.
As Monokuma laughed from behind the monitor, Ugami stepped forward. I'll do it. I've only seen the explosion once, but I believe I am capable of withstanding its power.
No!
Shouted Sheena.
You can't! Even if you couldn't handle 100 of those explosions.
Ugami shook her head. I'm the only one who even has a chance. Suddenly, Wadis remember the motorcycle he parked inside the dormitory and said, "Hold up, the motorcycle might be fast enough to go through those explosions. I'll do it." "Don't be hasty," urged Ugami. "Even if the motorcycle is unharmed by the explosions, that doesn't mean its rider will be." As Ugami and the others continued their debate, one person stepped toward the hallway lined with the Monokumas.
I'll do it.
"Makura!" screamed Nagi weakly. Makura, with her back facing Nagi, turned her head to the side slightly, gave him a small nod. She knew it would come to this. She knew why Monokuma would pose such an impossible exam. Junko was already looking forward to the next despair game. She's going to erase everyone's memories, including mine. She just wants to torment us and fill us with despair before that happens. And Makura knew that her sister's personality all too well, and that's why she was confident. She knew that the escape button was real. Whenever Junko brought despair to others, she always made sure that there was a possibility that despair would befall her instead. If the students won this gamble and made through this horrible situation, they would finally escape to the outside world. That outcome would obviously fill Junko with immense despair. In the same way she left a clue in Monokuma's control program, Junko could not be satisfied unless she took plans to ensure her own destruction. It was this quality that made Junko the ultimate despair. The ultimate dual nugget. That's why Makura was determined to do it. She knew that she was the only one who stood a chance of making that outcome possible. Even she had to risk her life. But right now Makura wanted to live more than anything. She wanted to hold on to this world, a world she had no interest in previously. She didn't even know if the sensation she felt was disappointing or not. But she wanted to live and continue searching for a new path. A path where she could abandon her submission to despair, where she could accept the sins of the past and continue to live. Makura, who was known as a war machine, found her heart beset by overwhelming fear and anxiety. Until now, it had never occurred to her that determination was necessary to live. As if she was brushing that fear aside, she quietly said,
Thank you, Nagi.
Fortunately, the words she said to the boy who showed her new possibility never reached his ears. Ugami, however, heard her and frowned as she said, "If you're planning to sacrifice yourself as an act of penance, I'll stop you with all my power." Though her words were firm, there was an unmistakable affection hiding in them. Both girls had dedicated their lives to battle, and yet Makuro felt a twinge of jealousy towards Ugami for possessing something she lacked. Makuro leaned toward Ugami and whispered in her ear. What? Are you serious? As Ugami's frown intensified, Monokuma's voice blared throughout the halls.
Alright, I'm gonna start the exam now! Ready, set, go!
There was no time for questions or objections. The foremost Monokuma exploded, sending a roaring wave of heat through the hall. Makuro didn't look away. She began moving, powered by a resolute determination. Showtime. Monokuma room. Since the graduation exam started, the mastermind focused her control entirely on Monokuma holding the escape button. And police synchronized her field of vision with it. She knew what was going to happen next. She could predict what her sister Makuro would do in this exact situation, where she would choose to focus her superhuman skill with weaponry. And so, through Monokuma's eyes, she watched the scene unfold exactly as she predicted. A pointed metal bar burst through the explosions and heading straight for the weak spot of the Monokuma holding the escape button. Specifically, it was aiming for the point where the bomb's detonation system Monokuma's power source overlapped. It flew straight and true, as if it had been fired from a master archer. In order to bring despair to Monokuma and by extension Junko as well, the super soldier known as Makuro Kasaba threw the pipe like a spear so he could attack the same weak spot as she pierced in the nurse's office. As the explosions filled the hallway until only fire remained visible, the spear's speed and precision has a sword to its targets defied all human logic. But the mastermind knew. She knew Makuro had used her power to fill the world with despair. Power was all that's all the disappointing girl had. But that power was useless against Monokuma. The mastermind had predicted that Makuro would put all her effort into that throw, and Monokuma caught the metal bar perfectly between his hands. The force of the throw knocked Monokuma back several yards, but the pointed end of the bar never pierced through his chest.
Well, that was disappointing.
The mastermind turned to look at a different monitor. She wanted to see the look on Makuro's face when she realized she had failed to strike Monokuma. Despair seeing the final Monokuma explode right before her eyes, completely obliterating the escape button. She wanted to sear this memory of her disappointing sister's final moments and a newfound hope sink into the darkest pit of despair. But she's not there, is she? On an instinct, she turned her attention to the surveillance camera that had been destroyed. But instead of seeing Makuro and the others, she only saw Ugami, who looked as though she had finished launching an attack. She only thought it was strange for 1 second. But then the hopelessly powerful mastermind clearly understood the situation and shifted her point of view to Monokuma. But because of that single fucking second, Junko would feel just a pang of despair. 3 seconds left. Amid the smoke, flames and heat circling the hall, it burst with the speed of a cannon shell. It's just getting fucking intense with bananas. It glared at Monokuma with hot, boiling eyes that betrayed the icy expression on its face, and then, sharply, swiftly, strongly, other adjectives, it transformed into a living weapon that cuts through everything. Actually, wait, adverb. Cuts through everything, revealing its true form in that hall of despair. 2 seconds. Monokuma, who was holding the metal bar in his hands, tried to move, but in that exact moment, the living weapon carved a path through the flames and appeared before him. Its body, which had never been wounded on the battlefield, was sustaining all manners of burns and injuries. But even so, it did not falter. The fire in its eyes never flickered once. 1 second left. The living weapon Makuro slammed her knee into the metal bar Monokuma was holding. No! Everything went in slow motion. No! Sharp tip of the metal pierced through Monokuma like a rail spike, shredding the detonator and the power source into pieces. Time's up. The 100 explosions ceased and smoke blanketed the hallway. It was like, woo! Makuro dived into Monokuma and the pristine escape button now rested in her fucking hands. Seeing the other students of Hope's Academy had passed the graduation exam. It was only a small amount of despair. Monokuma had tasted it in only 3 fucking seconds. Boom. First floor hallway.
Junko!
Makuro looked down at Monokuma. Could no longer move or self-destruct. When she spoke to him, a static-filled... that was her saying that.
Junko.
When she spoke to him, a static-filled voice emitted from his mouth. It seemed his communication function still worked.
Oh! I never expected you to do that.
It still sounded like Monokuma. It seems his voice modulator was unharmed as well.
I must have underestimated you. I never thought you'd need anybody's help on the battlefield. When I get this in, please toss me forward with a roundhouse kick.
Whispered those words to Ugami just before the explosion started. I see. Roundhouse. Roadhouse. As Makuro threw the metal bar, she jumped in the air at the exact moment Sakura unleashed a roundhouse kick. Right when knocked Sakura's foot made counter with her own, Makuro used the force generated by her kick to propel herself at Monokuma. That's awesome. Using the ultimate martial arts superhuman strength like a springboard, she shot herself through the air like an artillery shell. And during intense heat, shrapnel, and blood-draining G-force, she stayed conscious as she charged through the hallway engulfed with explosions and despair.
I'm breaking the sound barrier!
Makura trusted Junko. She trusted Junko to predict that she'd throw the metal bar and catch it accordingly. And she tried to look at her face as the despair sets in. The Junko and Oshina she knew would definitely do that. Although Makura hadn't predicted that her sister would try to kill her with the spears of Gungnir, she had a better understanding of her actions now. As Makura stared Monokuma in his face, all he could do was laugh scornfully.
You put your life in someone else's hand for a deadly battle. I don't know how I feel about that. You'll always be a half-assed disappointment. I guess this time I'll just say I lost because I didn't see this much of a disappointment coming. The end. The end.
Makura shook her head at Monokuma.
No, you're wrong, Junko. Huh? If you want to talk about winning or losing, I think we lost before we even started.
Makura's eyes shifted from side to side as if she was unsure of something, and she fidgeted in place as she continued to talk.
No matter how much despair they felt, you didn't think they'd kill each other the way they were before. That's why you erased their memories. They aren't like the others you forced in the past. You knew these students would never do it. That's what you believed, isn't it? What are you talking about? So, it's okay, Junko. I'll bring everyone's memories someday, and I'll show you everyone's happiness and their bonds. I'll show all that to you, and I'll fill you with even more despair.
Makura nodded as she said this, as if to cheer her sister up. After several seconds of silence, Monokuma responded,
You finally beat me this one time, and that lame speech is the best you could do? Fuck you! You're such a disappointment! You never fill me with despair. It's just constant disappointment. I'm so disappointed!
After pounding like a sore loser, Monokuma continued to speak in his usual tone.
When you guys will be back, they always come back. When that time comes, I'll invite you guys to a wonderful place. I found out about this fun island while I was running things here. Ooh, we're gonna go to Jabberwock and my Matrix program.
Monokuma's laughter filled the room before the static finally cut out and his remains fell silent. He wouldn't be talking again anytime soon, even though there were still like 800,000 of these things in the storage room. The Mastermind was already preparing a new despair to bring the world to the students of Hosted Academy, Junko included. In the end, the Mastermind stayed in her very Monokuma persona until the very end, and Junko and Oshima never showed her face again. It was as if she resented the despair Makura had given her. That thought almost filled Makura with despair. When she heard her classmates calling for her, she sealed that despair into the depths of her heart. From now on, she would seal away all of her despair. And one day, when she can give Junko the perfect despair, she'll unleash all despair she's stored and plunge with her sister into a dark abyss.
I won't leave my sister alone.
In the end, that was the first hope that the disappointing older sister had felt since she was a child. Several hours later, main entrance. Everyone's like, oh my god, we actually made it! Hey, look, I didn't die in this one. Neither did you, Amada. Oh my god, this is amazing. Oh, thank you. This is all due to the power of squishy princess. Are you really going to go out wearing that wig? After seeing the blood transfusion of the correct blood type, Nagi was beginning to show signs of recovering. Makura, holding her wig to disguise herself as Junko and Oshima, nodded.
If I live as Junko, I might be able to understand her better.
Despite that, Makura's voice still sounded like her own, as if she hadn't fully decided.
And I made up my mind. While I'm out there, I've decided I'll accept everyone's hatred toward me and toward Junko. I can't time to have destroyed all of the despair that Junko has spread.
The damage that the
ultimate despair inflicts upon the world cannot be measured in terms of money, culture, or even human life. Television...
Wait, she finished talking? Oh, she did finish talking. Cannot be measured in terms of money or human life. Television broadcasts have already begun informing people that Junko and Oshima and Makura excelled were the heart of ultimate despair. Among the survivors in the outside world, there are people who hadn't been tainted by despair yet. Regardless of the fact that she released Nagi and the others, to these survivors, she was nothing more than the reason the world ended. And to the terrorists wearing Monokuma masks who continue to ravage the world, Makura was nothing but a traitor. She was now in a hopeless situation of being enemies with most of humanity. Makura wasn't making a big deal out of it.
I'm going to try not to kill anyone who comes after me for revenge.
Would it be safer to just turn yourself in, dude? Wondered Curry. Oh, you might just get executed instead. You can live in it. You can live to be an old lady if you try. He's getting pushed back. Kuro slowly shook her head at Hagakure.
Shut up, Hagakure. Lost justice, these things no longer exist.
Is it really that bad out there, dude? Oh my god. Maybe we should stay in here. Tagami glared at Hagakure with contempt. Shut up. What the hell? Why did you get to live at the end of the first game? That doesn't make sense at all. And you're still alive? No, not even in the fan fiction could you fucking die. I guess this technically isn't fan fiction, but it is sort of like a, I don't know, it's not, not a canon story, but definitely I think it's a what if scenario by the original author of the story, I think. Ignorant idiot should just shut the fuck up. Wait, that means at the end of this, I didn't become a nicer person at all. That means I get to remain a dick forever. Yay! Hooray! Fuck that fat Tagami being nice to people. This is the way the real Tagami needs to be. Your fate won't change whether you stay in here or not. It was shocked to learn that Tagami Corporation was destroyed. Tagami continued to remain firm and proud, even toward Makuro. So what if it turns out now I'm dirt poor, because it's alright, I'm still better than all of you! Shut up! Don't look at me like that! Don't look at me like that! You are a rare asset, continued Tagami, so I'll let you live for now. Depending on your actions, I may consider forgiving your crimes if I've built a new world. In my name! Only Tagami would boast that they're capable of forgiving the crime of ending the world.
You don't need to do that. I don't plan on just surviving.
After turning away from Tagami, Makuro looked at the other students. Everyone was reacting in their own way. Kiger had a look of quiet preparation. Fukawa, having just changed back from Genosai, she was panicked and confused. Makuro looked back on the last 2 years she spent with them, then turned to Nagi, who shared the same memories as her, and gave him the escape button.
Nagi, you press it.
Huh, me?
I think it's better if you press it instead of me.
She watched Nagi accept the button with some hesitation. Makuro thought about what Monokuma had said.
You guys will be back.
Makuro knew that Monokuma was telling the truth. After all, the file the students needed to fully restore their lost memories remained hidden in the academy. The research notes of Yatsuke Matsuda, the ultimate neurologist, his research is the key to restoring everyone's memories. Okay, that's someone else. The ultimate neurologist, of course. I don't know who that is, but maybe someone else from Danganronpa 0. If the students no longer have their memories, then they may be able to repair the bonds they had built among themselves for the past 2 years. As long as their memories remain unrestored, the mastermind could still repeat her deadly plan of deadly doom. Although the island mentioned earlier sounded strange, the students could not turn their backs on the despair facing them. The kind of weird thing though is that it's supposed to be like a. I mean, they didn't actually go to the real island, right? I mean, they were in a fake island the whole time, weren't they? Oh, no, actually. No, they went to, no, I think the place that they had the virtual reality of the island was actually on Jabberwock Island, wasn't it? Just so we kind of realized that at the end of the, let's go. Nagi remembered everything that was happening in the outside world. The boy had chosen to remain inside the academy 2 years ago was now choosing to leave. How much did he struggle to come to that decision? But he was determined to face the despair awaiting him outside, and hid his internal conflict from the others. By protecting Nagi's hope, Makuro would bring her despair to her beloved sister. But she no longer knew if the end result of her goal would lead to hope or despair. She pulled the wig over her head and hid her face with her hands. Was she smiling because hope was waiting for her? Was she crying because her path would lead to despair? When she lowered her hands, her face was devoid of all emotion. Makuro no longer knew what expression she would wear on that face. At the same time, Nagi pressed the escape button. A siren began to wail as the turrets retracted into the ceiling. From beyond the heavy door, a bright light appeared. An infinite number of ifs, of ifs, all the possibilities contained therein, encased the world. Accepting everything, hope, despair, and even the feelings of that disappointing girl, Makuro Kasaba. Hey, we're actually getting a little cutscene. Now, be free! Everybody's happy! Yay! Everybody lives in this version. All thanks to Nagi and his fucking pointy head. Thanks, Ahoge. You saved the day once again. I did it. I fucking did it. Oh, man. So yeah, I totally read that for 3 straight hours. My voice is kind of shot now, but oh man, I'm not even sure how I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this in multiple parts or just one large, massive part. But I don't know. But anyway, that was interesting. I liked it. Gave a lot more insight into Makuro, which we didn't get like at all from the first game. I hope you all enjoyed that. I thought it was very interesting. If you did, give this video a like and a favorite, and subscribe now to become a Pinky Penguin aboard the SLP. Days are always sunny, bits are always funny. So yes, now with this, now I am truly, officially, and absolutely, completely finished with Danganronpa 2. This technically was in Danganronpa 2, so, but now it is entirely done. And now I must move on to bigger and bigger, and I must move on to other things. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed this game. I'm really glad I could do all the cool bonus stuff and read this little light novel. I know there's other light novels, I don't know, maybe I'll read them eventually, but I think I'll probably take a little break from Danganronpa for a while, you know? So, Not to overdo it anymore, but maybe one day I'll read the other novel. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and as always, guys, till next time, stay classy.